and welcome to my workshop. So we're going to be continuing on with the Chevrolet CMP Type 11, and this again is a military build-off challenge. I'm going to be putting this up on a Scale Builders Guild. So before we were able to get the basic shape of the bed completed, we still don't have the fenders yet, but the bed is pretty close to being in its final shape. And now we want to try to focus on getting the cab area started and trying to get a good idea of how we're going to build this. We got to figure out where we want our floor, be able to allow us some room under here for gear, whatever we have that we want to put in this truck. You can't run the floor all the way down because you have to have space for the mechanicals somewhere. So you need to fill up a good height. I'm going to guess it's going to be right in this general location, which would give us a pretty good amount of room to work with. But time will tell. I got some ideas for something that might work out pretty well and be a really simple and quick design. But that's just stuff we're going to figure out. So let's get started. So what I've created here is the lower floor pan of the cab area. Now I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do for the footwell here, whether it's going to be angled up to follow the door, or I'm probably going to have to angle it or make it come down some, or I'm looking at this to put a driver in, and if I'm going to get the whole driver in, I'm probably going to need some of this area down here. So I'm probably just going to leave this open for now, and then I'll fill this in once we get the rest of the truck further along, and I kind of work around like the rails and the suspension and all the other components that might be in that general area. But this should be fine. And so what I'm able to come up with is to have the skid plate along this little, represented by this blue box here, and off of that will be the old style axial transmission. So the front of it will fit in this notch here, and it will allow for the drive shaft to come down to the front axle, and then the rear will have the housing up in here, and then this is where the main gearbox is, the spur, and then off of that would be the back drive shaft. Now this area in red I'm going to build as a toolbox in the back of here. So I'm going to make this look like a toolbox, permanently mounted in the bed, and then what I'll do is I'll come in and cut out the back side and the bottom of the toolbox. And then when this is mounted up to the cab permanently, what you'll end up with is a hollow space into the bed and a little bit of a hollow space underneath the floor pan for the transmission to sit. That's the general idea. I'm gonna keep moving forward with that, and hopefully I can make that work out. So I think I got a pretty good start on the cab area. So the basic shape in the rear, the sides, and the start of the floor pan. And this is going to be where probably the base of the seat, I'm guessing by the height of this. I'm still not 100% sure how this is going to work out, but one of the things I will have to do is cut this out at the bottom and make this so that's removable from the bottom side. And the reason I want to do that is that I'm going to have a top, and to get to details, the driver, all that stuff will be near impossible without having this removed. So I want the whole bottom to be open, and I figured the best way to do that was to build it up so that it's nice and straight and good and secure, and then just cut the bottom out, make a patch, and I can drop this in and have some screws to secure it down, and that'll look just fine in there. The corners I have bent, they turned out pretty good. I think I had a little bit sharper bend in the original plastic bottom than what was achievable, at least with what I have for tools. But I think that's going to work fairly well. There's going to have to be a build-up of probably some plastic epoxy here and there. There's some low spots. Definitely sand all this down and get this all smoothed out. But I think all in all, that's the good general shape, and that should work well. Now obviously the back window needs to be cut in, but I probably will wait a little bit to get a little more structure on the front before I start taking anything off the back. And then the thing will be the top. Now that's going to be a little more complicated. I think I'm planning on using a ribbed structure. I've done that in the past, and I think that works the best. I've done the stacked, where you go around the edge and you build up the edge to the thickness you need, and then you just grind it down. That will work, but you often get lamination issues. You're fighting, trying to get that seam covered up. And it becomes a little bit of a nightmare to get everything just equal, proportional, and it adds a fair amount of weight trying to build that up like that, even by making the center hollow. So what I'm probably going to do is come in here and build some type of an inner structure to get the roof set. And I guess the question will be, how much of that inner structure, if any, do I cut out? Or do I just, pre-shape it so that it's, so it's not so flat across. It has a little bit of an interesting design on the top. So a lot to think about with that, but I still got time. So a lot of stuff happening, and making good progress on this. Looking forward to getting that front end set up so that I can have that iconic look of that Chevrolet CMP, and everybody can really see what this is going to start to look like. And until then, see you in the rocks.